Ladies and gentlemen, back again. Welcome back to another edition of Ball Numbers, the last dance, you could say. Robbie Basil, Cameron Woolley, Luke will join us in about a minute or two. A lot has happened. So, first of all, before we start, Happy New Year. It feels good to be back. Second
Yeah.
full semester in the new studio. I just realized I'm talking to a microphone or a water bottle, depending on what you say. But we are back, and there's a lot that we missed. And I think it's only right to give a mini summary of football from what we missed. So here is your summary. The Super Bowl is evil. Meteors could be inevitable. I don't know if they'll be sent by.
I'm begging for them.
I mean, I don't know if they'll be sent by the Dallas Cowboys.
Robbie,
I don't know if they're sent by the Chargers. I don't know. It's a very weird question, and we know our Super Bowl. But talk us through the last couple of weeks because it's been very, very interesting.
Very predictable.
I'm rooting for a Dark
Hello,
Knight
everyone.
Rises scenario.
That's a good one. That's a good
where
one.
Bane just blows up the whole field.
I mean, I think for Luke's sake, he should be hoping that one of the teams win the Royal Rumble so then they could challenge the Chiefs at WrestleMania in a couple of months.
That's a good reference.
I mean, right now, I was disappointed. And here's your summary. This sport is evil. Like, I don't know if the script writers yet have come up with some devious script to piss off everybody, or they're just doing it for their own amusement. I don't know. I don't know. It's like that one nightmare story that you think about and you hope doesn't come true, and then you wake up and that's the reality you're in. That is where we are. I think that's a very good way to put it because no one wanted this Super Bowl. We all wanted Bills Commanders, and they both lost. The Bills getting, I mean, it was essentially 12 against 11, as per usual. If you know, you know. And, well, there we go. We have our Super Bowl. Luke, your thoughts on where we stand in the NFL right now with our Super Bowl just a week from Sunday?
If the meteor doesn't come, I just need the Eagles to lose.
I don't know.
I just need them to lose.
Yeah, I've dealt with enough torment and pain as a Giants fan this year that this has been the worst season in Giants history. I think we can
I'm a Centennial too.
I think we can safely say that in terms of on-field play combined with optics. I don't think you can get any worse than going 3-14, letting the running back that you let walk, which I think was still in good thought process, letting Saquon Barkley walk. If you're not a contending team, it doesn't make sense to pay a running back. But having said running back walk to your arch rival of arch rivals and having said running back rush for over 2,000 yards in the regular season, would have broken the rushing record if he didn't sit the last game of the regular season. And then going on to have a playoff run that is nothing short of legendary and single-handedly reviving a dead position in a league that everybody thought was exponentially trending toward passing, and replacing your running backs in the later rounds of the draft. And all of a sudden, Saquon Barkley comes along and that way of thinking has changed. Like, if you're a contender, maybe the move is to pay a big running back. And look at the Eagles, dude. That was the difference. They have a titanium offensive line. They have really good receivers. Jalen Hurts doesn't have to do anything. And then you just have Saquon Barkley back there, and he's just incredible. I'm not going to deny that he's incredible, but this has resulted in the Giants catching infinite strays in every single game that the Eagles play. The second Saquon makes a big play, the second he gets a big touchdown run, everyone goes to Twitter and says, wow, the Giants are idiots. And everybody has every right to think that. Do I think that it was a bad move in a vacuum to let Saquon walk? No. But the optics of it have made it really, 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 really hard to watch football.
Yep.
This is a Super Bowl. I'm being straight up. I don't want to watch this game because on one hand, I have to deal with the final nail in the coffin on this nightmare of a season, something that the only way that the Giants can repair their reputation is if they go out and win a Super Bowl. After this, if Saquon Barkley wins Super Bowl MVP, which if the Eagles win this game, he will. Because the only way the Eagles win this game is if Saquon just puts the team on his back, runs for over 200 yards and multiple touchdowns, which isn't far-fetched. That's like his average performance this year.
Yep.
And on the other hand, you have the Chiefs three-peating, probably with the help of the refs, although I wouldn't mind the refs giving a helping hand this time. But the Chiefs and Mahomes three-peating, and you get the whole Swiftie angle, and you'll probably get a league mandate, or at least a league and
memo
and broadcasting nudged Travis Kelce proposal for marriage to Taylor Swift after the game on the field. So like, either way, you're getting an insufferable ending. And sure, if you're a neutral NFL fan who's not from the NFC East, you wouldn't mind the Eagles winning. But that fan base, you're not getting the same save the league angle that
from them
that other teams gave other teams. Like, you're not like with Lamar Jackson, the black hole sun trend last year, the Bills this year, and even to a certain extent, the 49ers last year, getting that save the league treatment that the Eagles aren't getting because their fans have just treated other people horribly. As a fan base that has been so delinquent that their old stadium had a jail built into the basement of it because their fans are just that awful to other people.
Is this real stuff?
I mean, yeah, the real stuff. You could look it up. The vet had a jail built underneath it.
That's insane.
Although I'll say, the city has got good cheesesteaks.
They do.
The Eagles going on a playoff run has made me crave Karadi's a couple times a week.
Oh my God.
Cheesesteaks.
Cheesesteaks.
Solid cheesesteaks.
It's not bad, but
good place.
I think the big thing for me as the true neutral here, because I hate both of them. I'm a Jets fan. These two are the Giants fans in the room, so I think I should give the least biased opinion here. I hate how teams, like, I do agree with you that the Eagles aren't this save the world team. Like, the rebellion is not like everyone not backing the Philadelphia Eagles because it's the Philadelphia Eagles. But on the same thought process, the Chiefs, yes, they've been bailed, but the Eagles kind of have gotten bailed multiple times as well. It's just why I think that narrative isn't there. They got bailed a little bit against Los Angeles. Saquon Barkley just absolutely annihilated the Commanders. I think everyone wanted the Commanders to win that game, unless you're from like the small area of Philadelphia. But I think for me, I wouldn't mind seeing Kansas City lose. I want Kansas City to lose. I do. I am tired of stale narrative. I'm tired of stale narratives. Narratives have to be different. And some stories, and you would know this from wrestling, they need to be different, fresh, whatever. Yes. It's the battle of two Death Stars. And I hate to say it like that because Philadelphia, while I don't like any of your sports teams, I actually don't hate the narrative of them winning with Saquon Barkley. I don't hate the narrative because I'm not even focusing on the idea that Saquon would be winning it. But I want to see someone else not named Saquon ball out, Saquon do meh, and the Eagles win. I think that's a good way to put it. Like, here's a perfect example. There are some multiple players on that team who are known as these big game players that have done absolutely nothing. At least not to my knowledge. A.J. Brown. Where has he been? Is he was he already in New Orleans like prior to the NFC Championship and divisional round? Like, where was he?
Reading.
He was reading books and probably in the library of New Orleans. You have Devontae Smith, who I think as the definition of a big game player, especially at a young age back in college, if you remember, he as a freshman caught the game-winning touchdown pass from a certain Tua Tagovailoa. after Jalen Hurts got benched in the national championship. So everything comes full circle here. I wouldn't mind seeing the Eagles win, but I want to ask this question. We look at the whole playoffs from the last couple of weeks. Who's the most disappointing team from the playoffs this year?
Detroit.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean,
Detroit.
The first seed.
Detroit.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
they had an out because their defense
they've had
was
like
basically
60 injuries,
gone.
though.
Yes, I know their defense had a million injuries, but they won 15 games.
They were the first seed.
Number 1 seed. Everyone was stoked on them, even with the injuries.
That's true.
And they got blown out by a rookie quarterback. Granted, we can't just talk about Jaden Daniels like an average rookie quarterback. You can argue that he impacts his team more than any other quarterback in the NFC already.
Yeah.
Because that Commanders roster is not that good.
We saw how many defensive flaws they had against the Philadelphia Eagles in a 55-23 matchup.
Yeah.
We all three of us saw how many flaws they could have. But they were still able to beat Detroit. I think that's a very good shout.
Yeah.
I think that's the easiest
that is
option.
a great point.
My answer is the Baltimore Ravens. They had all this expectation. I was disappointed in the way on how long it took for them to go out there and play man-to-man, fully match up with the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round. Baltimore race one turnover, Baltimore wins. If Mark Andrews can catch a ball and not fumble, they win this game.
Or they go into overtime.
Or they go into overtime and they find a way to win. Like this Baltimore team, yes, are they the most penalized team I've ever seen in my life? Absolutely. They're the most undisciplined defense I've ever seen. Erasing the 2019 Jets. A couple of those Jets teams, if you want to watch undisciplined football, let me tell you. But the Ravens just disappointed me because they had all this expectation. They get Derrick Henry, who was miraculous this season. And I think they are a piece or two defensively and maybe one other weapon with Zay Flowers away from being the true Kansas City Chief killer type of squad. I don't know who that other piece would be, but I feel like they're just so close. And Lamar said it well. They have to get over the hump eventually. The question is, how much longer do we have to wait? And it's a very frustrating team to talk about because it kind of felt inevitable in the fourth quarter, because I commentated this game for my YouTube channel, where the Ravens were coming back and you thought they were going to win it. And then Lamar does that miraculous touchdown to Isaiah Likely, and it's a 2-point game again. And we're like, oh no. And we did not know what was going to happen next. And then Mark Andrews drops the ball, which kind of feels full circle because for two reasons. Remember week 1? How did the season start? What was the last play of week 1?
Isaiah Likely barely having his toe out of bounds.
And then how did it? And then that happens with the Ravens with Mark Andrews dropping it. And then it became even more full circle the next week when Dalton Kincaid dropped it against Kansas City. But I think the Ravens, they're so close and yet so far. It's so frustrating. They're the most disappointing team, not named Detroit. Luke, you want to chime in on this?
Any team that lost to these teams?
Yeah, fair.
All of them?
All of them. All of them are disappointing. But one other point we want to bring up is that there was a bunch of coaching hires that weren't with the New York Giants. I want to bring up the Jets first real quick because, of course, we got to bring up the Jets once in this video. What show do you think this is? Nah, I'm kidding. The Jets getting Aaron Glenn. This was a popular question on my Instagram a couple of days ago, really. I like it, but I don't like it. Because the Jets, Aaron Glenn is a great get. And he was able to take a battered defense to help them be one of the top defenses in the league. The issue is that this kind of feels like Robert Saleh all over again, plus leadership from Glenn. And let me explain why. The Jets, they're in a very odd situation. We don't know who their quarterback is going to be. We don't know who their wide receivers are going to be. We don't even know who is going to be on the roster next season. It's a very weird team. it's possible that the Jets sign some random quarterback. Maybe the Falcons cut Kirk Cousins and then we get Kirk Cousins. Maybe, who knows? Who would be another quarterback that would get cut? Marcus Mariota. Maybe we get Marcus Mariota. I don't know what the Jets are going to do. I think from the way that Woody Johnson hired Glenn and the GM, I think it's Muge is how you say it. I don't even know how you say it. I'll be dead honest with y'all. It points to the direction that the Jets are going to keep Aaron Rodgers, which I am not against.
I'm
the
not totally
one
against it
question
either.
I have for the Jets, what are you doing with Garrett Wilson? Are you trading him or are you keeping him? Please make this decision before March.
You could get a lot for him if you trade him.
The issue is I don't think they should trade him. If they
you know,
trade him, you are pledging to being bad again.
I mean,
off the jump, because you're not drafting a wide receiver at 7.
Listen, how did that work out for the Giants, except for one piece?
Right.
Derek Dexter Lawrence.
Like,
how did that really work out for the Giants?
It's a weird
The Giants backed into winning that trade.
Exactly.
They kind of did.
Like, we accidentally won that trade because the pick that the first rounder that we got from the Browns just happened to become Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
Great shout, by the way. But my feeling with this, my feeling is this. If you want to get Ted, you have to keep Wilson and you should pay him first. I don't like the idea of paying him first. I think Sauce Gardner should be paid first because he's the most loyal player of the 3 or 4 that we have to pay out of the young guys.
Or even a better comparison, when the Titans traded
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown, yeah. But
AJ Brown has more Super Bowl appearances than Traylon Burks does touchdown catches.
Didn't they get a first-round pick for him? AJ Brown?
That became Traylon
Burks.
Yeah, I know, but I'm like, they got a first-round pick. Which,
I mean, yeah.
In this market, we don't even know how teams trade for first-round picks anymore. My final piece is this.
Same amount of, actually.
The Jets have holes. Yes. They are. I think the Jets do have to move up a pick or 2 in the draft. And let me explain. I'm not saying we are drafting a quarterback. Hold on, YouTube comments. I am saying the Jets should trade up 2 spots to draft Will Johnson at 5. I think that has to happen because DJ Reed is leaving. Good. We need to save money because DJ Reed is not coming back. We need a corner. Will Johnson is tall. He's lanky. He's like every corner that we love. He's Sauce Gardner, but he can actually tackle. Yes, Sauce Gardner.
In the words of Deion Sanders, they don't pay me to tackle.
I love Sauce Gardner to death, and I hope he stays a Jet for life, but please learn to tackle. Please. You got the sauce. You got the drip. Please learn how to tackle.
I mean, Jets fans were like debating, we're retiring Sauce and calling him Ahmad again. Calling him Ahmad.
I mean, he had a bad season, but I still think he's got a lot in him. I'm just really worried about G-Dub. I mean, I know the Jets for some reason were linked to Chris Olave yesterday, which I don't know how
you're going to see a lot of teams get linked to a lot of weird names.
Wilson,
I mean, we were talking about again. You were talking about the Garrett Wilson trade rumors. I'm going to bring this up just for the sake of a talking point. Jordan Ronan, the Giants reporter for ESPN, said that the Giants are looking to add a significant weapon via free agency or trade in the offseason, presumably to help out the young quarterback. Presumably, they're rolling out the red carpet for Shedeur Sanders. They're trying to avoid the mistake that they made with Daniel Jones by just throwing him in and making him figure it out.
Yeah.
Could Garrett Wilson be one of those guys? Depending on how the trade market shakes out, you could see the Giants pony up a couple of picks for Garrett Wilson. Again,
I don't think they'll keep him I don't think they keep him in the same stadium, though. I think the real pieces you have to watch out for. I think the players you have to watch out for in free agency and trades. Number 1 is T. Higgins. I don't think T. Higgins stays with the Bengals. The team you have to watch out for to make a big splash, the Mile High City, the Broncos.
The Broncos,
yeah. They have to go all in on the receiver.
They have the young quarterback,
and they have
Cortland leaving.
All they're really missing in that offense is an alpha dog number 1 wide receiver.
And all they have to do is just Bo leave.
I was wrong about Bo Nix. I think you remember me on draft night?
Yes.
I chastised the Broncos.
To be fair, I chastised
reaching on Bo Nix.
I chastised Jahmyr Gibbs, and look where that got me. So
everyone hated the Jahmyr Gibbs bet because again, pre-Saquon nuclear bomb on the Eagles, I don't know where I was going with that, but like pre-Saquon going nuclear on the Eagles, people thought running backs were worthless, and drafting one in the first round, ironically because of Saquon Barkley,
Yeah.
made everyone think that running backs were
it's just an anti-Giants narrative.
It is an
well, I mean, the people are
partially.
kind of right to have an anti-Giants narrative because the Giants have become the joke of the league, at least optics-wise. Even though I don't think they're that badly run, like because there's this misconception that Joe Shane is just another bumbling idiot. They're thinking he's like Dave Gettleman, but worse. When he's
In
not.
fact, it's the very opposite.
I mean, yeah, it's like Joe Shane at least understands positional value in the modern
Yes.
NFL. But again, the standard is freakishly low.
Yeah.
For the Giants GMs.
I think the real question right now is when you look at position for position, who is a team that you could see making the big splash move anywhere? The players that I have right now is my top skill position offensive players. You have to look at players like Aaron Jones. I think will stay with the Minnesota Vikings. But one other piece you have to watch out for is the speedster from Los Angeles and J.K. Dobbins, who I don't know if he stays with the Chargers.
I think he stays with the Chargers.
I think it'd be a great get for you guys. Would be J.K. Dobbins.
We have Tyron Tracy.
But why not go with a double pivot?
In terms of skill positions that I think we could add, I think it would just be a wide receiver. I am not. And unlike a bunch of Giants fans, I'm not crazy about signing T. Higgins. I think the free agency
You're not
going
to get T. Higgins.
I think, but which is good. I think the free agency money honestly should be spent on DJ Reed or Travarius Ward.
DJ Reed's going to. I think DJ Reed's going to go to San Francisco. They'll pay him the money. And he wants to play for a real contender. We've heard what he said.
Yeah, but again, everyone says they want to play for a real contender until they get a bag thrown in their faces.
But no, DJ Reed. Remember when DJ Reed signed with the Jets? He took less money to come play for the Jets. Less guaranteed money to play on the Jets. It's weird. But would you guys, weird question, and this is the last player I'll bring up. Would you guys, because I know Darius Slayton's a free agent.
I am so done with having him on my football team.
Hold on. Would you guys want a gamble move? A guy who hasn't really been on a roster in like 2 months. Would you guys want to go for the gamble option and do a 1-year get on a former number 1?
Stephon Diggs.
Deontay Johnson.
I'm done with gambles.
It's a 1-year minimum contract.
I don't want the
That's
Giants
a
to
perfect
get
gamble.
gambles in order for. Again, dude, if they're really,
That's
if they're
gamble,
if they're serious about adding a weapon, if they're serious about helping out a potential Shadur Sanders guy, because I think
Cam Ward should be your guy, by the way.
Cam Ward's probably going to the Titans. Although
Cam Ward's the Titans are not drafting a quarterback. They've made that very apparent.
If they aren't drafting a quarterback, I'm very fine with that because it gives me the peace of mind. Although I do think there is some sort of, I'm not saying it's definite.
Levis, though.
I would not be surprised if there was some sort of backdoor handshake deal with Deion Sanders and everything that saying like, hey, Shadur Sanders is going to be a New York Football Giant. Like, I wouldn't be shocked every single time. Like the Giants, you want to talk about the Titans making it abundantly clear in pressers and talking to the media, which again, we got to take those quotes with a grain of salt as well. But if we want to talk about the Titans making things clear to the media about their draft intentions, the Giants have done nothing but gush and gush and gush about Shadur Sanders. And granted, do I think he's like a super gushable prospect? Not really. I think Cam Ward has more upside, but I'm just imagining just like the buzz that would bring the son of prime time coming to New York. But he's already like this with Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
So he'll feed Malik Neighbors the football, which is how this offense was successful. Which was just force feeding the ball to Malik Neighbors and getting the ball in his hands as much as humanly possible. But I'm imagining a world where Shadur Sanders comes in, has an immediate impact, and turns the Giants around, and he has the swagger. He's got the buzz, the gusto.
Right, I get what you mean by that. But real quick, we do have some news from the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh no.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Graham may have his one last dance. They've opened the practice window for Brandon Graham to come back. Along with CJ Uzomah, but who cares about CJ Uzomah? When was he on the Eagles?
You want to know how stacked that team is? They have Brandon Graham coming off the bench.
Listen, it could be his last game. I mean, it's going to be his last game.
Oh yeah, yep. And the script writers are all setting it up.
There you go. Perfect way to end the script. You break Taylor Swift by winning the Super Bowl for Brandon Graham. Absolutely perfect. But let's pivot over to another sport of discussion. Major League Baseball continues to be so often frustrating because, ladies and gentlemen, spring training is in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And some big free agents have not signed yet.
Shocker. Scott Boras overplaying the leverage of his clients.
Absolutely. We didn't get to cover this because the semester ended.
That's right. So, Luke, what did we miss?
Lead us
no kidding, we missed a lot. But I'll let Luke, because I know you wanted to talk about this.
Well, I gotta
enlighten us.
I gotta bring up a clip from like when the Mets were a lowly 1-5.
Oh yeah. Do you have? Are you connected?
I know exactly what clip.
Hold on. Are you connected?
I know exactly what clip.
I'm not connected. Hold on.
I know exactly what clip he's gonna bring up, and he's gonna throw it in my face.
Probably.
It'll be better. Hold on.
And while we wait for Luke, the big free agents, while we wait for Luke to set up, the big free agents still remaining are Alex Bregman and Pete Alonso, because the Dodgers are the Death Star for real this time.
Yeah, that's it. You want to talk about the evil empire?
Roki Sasaki, who I thought was for certain going to be not a Dodger.
The continent of Asia is their farm system.
Who needs prospects?
The entire continent of, and they have really good prospects too,
bro. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Well, the biggest question for you, attempting to play, please check the code.
Yep, I got it.
I don't know what's happening, but Luke,
I know exactly what's happening.
You're paired, so hit the clip for us.
He's been the owner for how long? How long? I've heard so much about King Cohen and Uncle Steve, the modern day George Steinbrenner. Dude, give me a break with that. I haven't seen a thing.
You better.
I have not seen a thing that tells me anything other than Steve Cohen being a con man who has fooled you and the millions and millions of other Mets fans around the world.
I don't think that's aged very well.
Well,
no, not really.
It hasn't because.
Oh my God, you are so petty. He deserves to be petty. Though. I mean, you deserve it, dude, because you guys run this town now. And
not really.
Hey, you can't play the underdog angle anymore.
Oh, we won't.
You can't play the underdog angle. You can't be the lovable Mets anymore.
We're still like
I'm fine with that.
You can't be the level. No, you can't play the victim card anymore. No, the sympathy's gone.
I mean,
I'm saying
I'm fine with that. It's a nice change of pace.
I mean, yeah, the sympathy's gone. And that's not to say that the Yankees haven't done a bunch to make up for it, but I still think also the Mets haven't really made another major impact move since the Soto signing.
What, you mean Griffin Canning's not an impact player?
Griffin Canning, AJ Minter, re-signing Ryan Stanek.
AJ Minter's a good get. Come on now.
Oh, and starting pitcher Clay Holmes.
Starting pitcher Clay Holmes.
It's gonna work. It's going to work.
I could see that working. I could see it working, but again, it's a gamble. And
we are the king. I mean, aren't we close to Atlantic City? Everyone wants to gamble. Come on.
But the Mets, I think we're getting a little bit lost. And again, like the sort of the honeymoon phase of the Soto signing, at least from like an outsider perspective, has
we also
somewhat
brought some Mania back too.
It
Oh,
has
yeah, we did bring
somewhat worn
Sherman
off a little
back,
bit, but
right.
again, the expectation after Soto was that was just going to be the start of a big offseason where you were going to bring in a bunch of people. You haven't even re-signed Pete Alonso yet.
Well, to be fair, no one's gotten Pete Alonso.
Yeah, I know.
So we're still fine.
Also, he's a Boris client who's not Juan Soto or Garrett Cole. So you're dealing with that. Like Scott Boras is an awful agent for.
He felt backwards into Juan
not,
Soto.
I mean, yeah, he just happened to get Juan Soto, and Boras can play his games when he has a client who he knows will get a Brinks truck of money. No, small country's worth of money.
Yeah.
From a team. Or that Soto contract is $800 million if you tack on the extra. And I know you have no problem paying it. And if you end up winning a World Series, none of that matters.
None of that matters. We got someone who's probably who's on a Hall of Fame trajectory,
who is going to go into the Hall of Fame as a New York Met. It depends how his
yeah.
It depends how his Mets career goes. But if Juan Soto's career has told us anything, is that he's immune to pressure. He's immune to playing in an environment. He got traded to the Yankees last year as somewhat of a missing piece, and he did his job.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that the Yankees didn't win the World Series was the other guy who was supposed to shoulder the load of the offense with him.
And now they all love him.
No, I'm not. I don't love Aaron Judge. I don't love Aaron Judge. He is in my proverbial doghouse. He's sleeping on the couch. I have no love for Aaron Judge. That guy's a loser. And hey, dude,
are we doing this again?
I
thought we left this in 2024. Are we still doing this? Like the hatred of Aaron Judge? Because that's a stale narrative.
What do you mean it's a stale narrative? He is he's the Joel Embiid of baseball.
Pardon the interruption.
Jackson.
I do have some breaking news.
Oh.
We were this close, apparently, just minutes ago to a trade, but due to financial issues, the trade didn't go through. Let me tell you through what almost just happened.
What?
It was between the White Sox and the Cincinnati Reds.
Of course, there's financial troubles there.
But it wasn't with the White Sox.
What money do those teams have?
Well, they have a lot. They just don't want to use it.
Yeah, what money do
That's
they
the financial
want to
problem.
spend?
So here's what the trade almost was. We almost had Luis Robert going to the Reds.
For who?
For a top 10 prospect.
In this economy?
Yeah. And
Luis Robert's not even good anymore.
And apparently the Reds and the White Sox
have that effect on people.
Apparently they could not find the middle ground on a trade because of the money or the future money.
I'll take Luis.
So
Robert,
here's the here's the question: who's going to get this man at the end of the day? It's a very
Robert.
I think he's been moving to trade since the White Sox started sucking.
Can you please go to the Diamondbacks and just get this done?
Yeah,
with?
Luis Robert
the
seems
Giants.
like an Arizona Diamondback or a San Francisco Giant. He has NL West written all over him. No, the Dodgers. The Dodgers. Why not, dude? Have Luis Robert be a pinch hitter.
Yeah.
Or a platoon bat.
I mean,
why not?
He just had us under 800 OPS, so it kind of makes sense. But the question,
perfect reclamation project for the Dodgers.
There you go. Yeah, I mean. The one thing I want to bring up before we talk about the remaining two big free agents and where I think we believe they think they can go. Can we talk about the NL West and how strong they've gotten over the last couple of months? Let's bring up
Willie Adames.
No, so we have Willie Adames, Corbin Burns,
Roki
Sasaki, the entire Dodgers team. But you forget how good the Padres can be, and
they haven't spent it. But they're apparently trying to trade their pitchers.
I know. Well, now
the Padres are always trying to trade people.
I'll take Michael King because that would be really funny.
That would be kind of ironic if I was getting Michael King, but
I don't think Michael King is one of the guys who's going to get traded.
I don't think so either.
I mean, he has too many years of control.
Well, no, apparently he hits free agency like next year or something.
Pitchers to mention out of the National League West. Are we ready for this ranking? In no particular order, Shohei Ohtani, Corbin Burns. He's going to pitch this season. Shohei Ohtani, Corbin Burns, Dylan Cease, Blake Snell, Michael King, Yamamoto, Logan Webb, who I think is going to have a renaissance this year. To continue this, Zach Gallen, who could be an ace on like anyone.
I know you said no.
Tyler Glasnow, who's coming back from an injury.
We always talk about Tyler
I'm
Glass
not
now
done
coming
yet.
back from an injury.
It's literally in his name, Glass.
I mean, it isn't.
All those Dodgers players are going to be on the IL by July.
And they're going to have
I'll be an optimist.
rotation back
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, dude. Their rotation was decimated last year.
And they still won.
They won the World Series in 5 years. Although,
with three
although
pitchers.
that was kind of because of the Yankees shooting themselves in the foot, like in
Harsh,
3
but
of those
fair.
games. Games 1, 2, and 5, the Yankees.
The Yankees should have won game
The
1.
Yankees beat themselves.
Yeah.
Games 1 and 5 at the very least.
Yeah.
And if Judge was, if it was June, they would have won that series in 5 because
you just gaslight them into thinking it's
Judge.
June.
I mean, if we're talking about the Mets, they'd be in June. They'd be like 6-19. Yeah, here we are. But
they were good in
to
June.
finish
actually.
off the narrative,
June swoon.
I gotta finish this narrative. How strong the NL West has gotten. I will say this right now. I don't think it's an automatic. It's not automatic that the Mets make the playoffs. I don't think it's automatic. Not by one bit.
The Mets are very top heavy in their lineup.
That is very true.
Juan Soto covers up a lot. I can tell you from personal experience, Juan Soto covers up a lot of lineup deficiencies just from his presence alone.
The big question.
But the Mets also don't have an Aaron Judge.
I mean, looking
we
at
have Francisco Lindor,
let's look at the
who's
teams.
not as good of a regular season hitter as Aaron Judge.
Right.
Let's not. Don't kid yourself here.
I mean, let's go over the talent in the National League. Starting with the East, you have 3 contenders who can make the playoffs. Philadelphia, Atlanta, who just signed Jerickson Profar, who I think is a great addition.
They just lost Max Fried, though.
They did lose Max Fried, but I think they could find a way. Headlined by Spencer Strider, who will be coming back from an injury, obviously.
He won't be starting the season.
3-pitch magician who will probably be back in who knows when. Philadelphia, who we all know about. I'm surprised they haven't done really anything. What have they done this season?
Max Kepler.
That's true.
That's about it.
Max Kepler, brilliant. And the Mets, who signed Juan Soto. In the Central, what have the Brewers done?
Nothing. They
Brilliant.
traded Devin Williams. They traded for Nestor Cortez.
So they're headlined by ace Nestor Cortez and Freddie Peralta. The Cubs, who are still bad. And I mean, they did trade for Kyle Tucker, which
the Cubs who are rumored on every single big free agent, but never spend the money. They're the Toronto Blue Jays of the National League.
They are the Blue Jays. They're thankful the Blue Jays.
They're the American Blue Jays, and they're also headlined by the sneaky Cincinnati Reds. I think Cincinnati has.
They got Kevin Lux.
Can they please trade for Luis Roberts so we can get out of this narrative? And the National League West, where you have 4 teams, and of course,
you forgot about the Pirates.
I
forgot about them too.
They're not.
Everyone
they're not a contender.
The Pirates aren't.
They don't pay anyone either. They don't pay anyone either.
True. Also shout out to the Cardinals for also being kind of.
Oh, shout out to the Marlins for saying they'll be active in free agency and spend $0 in free agency.
Yeah,
didn't they? Who did they sign? Who have the Marlins signed?
I have personally spent more money than the Miami Marlins.
Same, bro. I've also won more money in bets and stuff than what the Marlins have done recently. But and the American League, what do you have? The Yankees and tumbleweeds. So we all know how this can probably go. But let's just bring up this question and predict real quick before we go over to hockey, because I know you boys want to discuss some hockey.
He wants to.
You do.
Bunch of puck.
And you can talk about your contending team and the Washington Capitals in a minute.
I'll talk a little puck.
The question is this. Where do Alex Bregman and Pete Alonso sign? I think I know where they're both going to sign, but I want to get your opinions first, or if you have it, a guess. Or do you want me to start this off? What do we think?
I guess I could.
I think Bregman goes to the Tigers.
Yes, I agree with this.
Well, I mean, if the Astros are trading Ryan Presley, which I think
they traded Ryan Presley to the Cubs. Actually, they made another move. Yes, chat. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Where is it? Yes, they made a trade for Ryan Presley. That did happen.
They might have more money now for Alex Bregman.
I don't think they wanted. I mean, they got to re-sign somebody on that team. They lost. They have to do something. And it's a good shout with the Astros. I think he's also going to the Detroit Tigers. They had a deal in place, but they're like, Scott Boras sucks, so we obviously know that was not going to happen.
Oh, it's music to my ears.
I was saying if the Orioles still had that short left field wall, he would have been a perfect fit there.
Oh my God, yes, I totally agree with that. But now let's go. Wait, didn't they just move the dimensions back to the short wall this year?
I mean, he would know about it.
Isn't that a thing?
I don't think they did. And I try to keep tabs on.
I swear I thought they did that. But now here's the real question.
Alonso.
Mr. Alonso, you're last. You.
Right.
Alonso,
I honestly have no clue. I don't see any real fit where they wouldn't have like a maybe like the Brewers, but they don't spend money. Any team that I could see Pete Alonso being a fit on,
all the teams that
like doesn't want to spend money on it. And he's probably going to end up. I'm just gonna spin the wheel. I guess like
hold on. Let's spin the wheel for
the.
You want to spin the wheel for us?
Yes.
We're spinning a wheel, chat.
I'm spinning the wheel on Robbie's phone. My prediction for Pete Alonso is.
Oh my God, that's perfect. Yes. Yes, the Nationals.
The Washington. My prediction, according to this wheel, is the Washington Nationals.
Let me get a spin. Hold on.
I don't care, dude. We're spinning the wheel to figure out.
Oh my God, I got the Cardinals. That's actually a funny.
The Cardinals.
That's not a bad shout.
Yeah, they just
that's
lost.
Not a bad fit. Yeah,
they just lost AARP member Paul Goldschmidt to the Yankees.
They're also probably losing Nolan Arenado, so they need an offensive weapon. I think it's not a bad shot, actually.
Didn't they? I don't know they have a first baseman.
I mean,
I don't know.
Oh, by the way, weird question. How did no one know Dylan Carlson was a free agent? How did I not know Dylan Carlson was a free agent?
Because Dylan Carlson hasn't been relevant since
spin the wheel
before COVID.
All right, Luke's spinning the wheel, chat. Luke is spinning the wheel. Oh, oh my God. He got the Astros.
They signed Christian Walker.
And to be fair, Christian Walker and Pete Alonso, the double pivot, one can play DH. They just have to make Yordan
Alvarez going
left field. There's your answer.
Yeah, dude, playing left field in Houston is probably the easiest left field.
Yeah.
That's why they got the one guy for the Cubs for the Kyle Tucker trade. Who was that?
Paredes.
Isaac Paredes. That's why they got him.
He doesn't play left field.
Well, no, because of his projections.
He's gonna play third.
His batted ball
metrics are favorite left field.
Oh yeah, fair. Perfect.
There's so much we can discuss in baseball, but the season's still 2 months. So how is the season still 2 months away?
You haven't talked to me about what I think about.
I was segueing to that. Yeah.
No, you were not.
I was segueing because you don't know how my segues work. And I've worked with him
think you do
for over a year and a half. Of course I don't. You know where? Do I look like I know?
I don't know how my segues work.
So,
well, that's because you're you. But
anyway,
Pete Alonso, where does he go?
What are the options right now? Realistically, all the teams that made their first
Blue Jays, Mets, the Cardinals, I guess.
The Angels,
absolutely not.
Angels. I could see Pete Alonso.
But you see,
Los Angeles Angel of
all the teams that need first baseman this offseason made their first baseman moves already.
True.
Well, last year essentially.
Yeah.
In December.
Who's playing first baseman for the Diamondbacks?
Oh, Naylor.
Oh yeah,
yeah, Josh Naylor.
I completely forgot that happened.
That guy's an underrated hitter.
What about the Giants?
Who is playing?
There's another good shout.
It might be platooned with like Flores.
No,
I don't know.
Pete Alonso, go to the Giants. Make that division even more weird.
But
I actually wouldn't mind that because then we could trade for Spencer Torkelson.
I don't want Spencer Torkelson.
I want to save money. Damn it.
Your owner is Steve Cohen, who brags about burning money on the team.
Well,
we're about to do that whole project around City Field. We have to save money somehow.
The whole point of him being the owner is that he can afford everything.
The Mets know they can't. They don't have the bet against themselves.
True.
Especially based on the comments that he gave addressing the whole negotiations. And also, I don't know where Pete Alonso is going to go. Realistically, I don't know where he's going to go because the Blue Jays still have to figure out what they want to do with Vladimir Guerrero. They could not sign him. They could also sign him. But then if they get Pete Alonso, where are they going to put him for this season?
They're going to trade Guerrero then, no?
Probably, but it's just, I don't know. I really don't know. I really feel like he's probably going to come back to the Mets eventually. I just don't know when.
That's honestly the most likely scenario.
It is the most likely scenario.
We're like spring training games are a week away.
Because Scott Boras is not going to get they're not going to get a better deal. They are not going to get another better deal.
Now they're not. They waited too long.
He overplayed his hand.
Shout out to the
Forrest, he always
Tigers.
does that.
Well, imagine the Tigers get both of them. The
They
Tigers
spend-
get both, then they trade Torkelson to the Giants. That's such a Giants trade. But imagine though. Imagine, chat, before we go to hockey, imagine the Detroit Tigers spending like remember when the Rangers spent all that money on Marcus Semien and Corey Seager?
And they won a World Series.
Yeah.
What if this is like the beginning of the development arc for the Tigers and they spending money on the right two players? On the right two players, though. Like signing Javi Baez, that was stupid. I think we can all agree with that. But imagine imagine shit. Hold on here. Imagine though. Bregman, Alonso at the corners with Baez and whoever you put it. Who plays second for them?
You're asking the wrong person.
I thought y'all watch baseball. Then they play in the American League. I thought you would know about the American League.
They're the American League Central, and we haven't played this variation of the Tigers in the playoffs.
And like
Fair enough.
I could tell you everything about the Cleveland Guardians and Minnesota
Of
Twins.
course you can, because you play the Guardians.
I can tell you all about those three teams. I know so much about those teams.
Hey, go get your ball knowledge on the new Chicago White Sox. Yeah, the team that's going to win 30 games this year. But we will not talk about the team that will win less games than the New York Rangers in 2025 rather. Let's talk about your New York Rangers. The Garden of Tragedy.
Here we go.
The Garden of Travesty. Let me call. Is that a fair way to word it? Garden of Travesty. I was gonna call the episode that, but apparently
the Garden of Dreams, the Garden of Nightmares,
Garden of Nightmares.
I like Garden of Travesty better because that's more original.
You can go with it,
but we can say the often frustrating New York Rangers back again. What are they? 3 points out of a playoff spot now?
Something like that. After they took a whole month and a half off.
The Eastern Conference is just awful.
Or
this year.
they're bad, but they're all mediocre. I think.
It's also very top heavy.
Also, why are the Capitals good? Does anyone have an explanation why the Capitals are good?
I mean, the moves they made their team better.
They made really good moves. Their desperation moves to keep the dream alive actually worked.
How are my Islanders only 4 points out of a playoff? Where the hell did the Blue Jackets come from?
I was asking that. I asked that same exact question on my podcast.
They're rallying over.
Fair. But in reality, they are 4 points.
Anyways.
My Islanders are 4 points out of a playoff spot. There's so many teams that could be joining that chaos. So I was about to talk on my phone, but let's go over to the Garden of Travesty.
So
the Garden of Tragedy.
A lot
with
happened.
This guy,
so
Luke Dolan.
A lot happened in the meantime. The Rangers traded their captain, Jacob Trouba, and then they traded Capo Caco. Signed Igor Shesterkin to his contract, which I'm a fan of personally. And then one of the pieces they got back for Capo Caco, Will Borgen, they just signed him to a pretty decent contract.
Why did you?
Because
not that good.
he's been a fit. He's been a pretty good fit for the Rangers. Yeah, they lock him in at a lower price.
A 1 month sample size fooled me. A 1 month sample size tricked me into thinking that Luke Hughes and Brett Pesce were like the best defensive pairing in the league.
I mean, Will Borgen is just a boring defenseman, which is like the best thing you can be. Honestly, if you can, and he's a 5-year contract, 4.1 million AAV, which is actually not even that bad of a price. So, I say this because then they started winning games in January. Started winning a lot, but then the last two games were some of the worst collapses I've seen. So back to what they were doing for the last month and a half in December and November. They tied a game against Colorado and they're on the power play with like 20 seconds left, about to go in overtime. I don't even know. I was listening to the radio. I don't know who. I think it was probably Panarin. He doesn't dump the puck in because they're trying to score. But oh no, it gets turned over and Kel McCarr, who's coming right out of the box, 2-on-1, 15 seconds left, and then he passes it to Arturi Lehkonen for the game-winning goal in regulation. So that sucked. But, a loss. Fine, whatever. We would do it for one. Just make it back against Carolina. Also, by the way, the big three-trade trade that happened, too. The Rangers were the first teams to face Colorado and Carolina after they made the Mikko or Antonin trade. So Carolina, I'm actually in the attendance for this game. First minute, first shot, Carolina up 1-0. But the Rangers are playing with them for most of the game, for a good part of the game, but not getting the goal. And then they take a penalty, which, okay, we'll see. Late in the second period, they got a lot of chances. Vincent Trocheck goes on a breakaway. He goes on a breakaway on a penalty kill, which is a good opportunity. So what would you do if you're on a breakaway, you guys? What would you do?
I don't know. I don't know. You tell us, because I thought you just dumped the puck and just kill off more clock. No.
Well, I mean, when you have a chance to put the puck on net, you do it. Especially when you have a chance. Shoot the puck. Vincent Trocheck decides, big brain time. A drop pass to Riley Smith, who does not know it's coming. And he puts the puck back up ice for a 3-on-1 the other way. And the Carolina Hurricanes score. And that was the moment the game ended. That was the... I'm trying to speak here. That game ended right there and then. And I could not believe that I saw what I saw. That was it makes me wonder how some of these guys are in the NHL and getting paid big money if they're making stupid mistakes like that. My dad was like trying to give him the benefit of the doubt that, maybe someone fooled them by tapping their stick for calling for the puck. The replay, neither the Carolina defender or Riley Smith, neither of them tapped their stick on the ice calling for the puck for anything to fool them, to fool Trocheck. So he did that all on his own. Is not good hockey sense. And then Hurricanes get 2 goals in the third period, and it's over. It was over in the second period. And I now have to wonder what are they doing now, because they brought themselves back in the playoff spot after quitting, and now they're quitting again. And for some reason, they keep finding themselves in JT Miller rumors, which I could not be more lukewarm towards on a player ever. I do not want anything to do with him because I think he's a problem. And yet they seem so insistent to keep trying to get him at a reduced price, probably. Speaking of which, Jim Rutherford basically acknowledged that there's a problem between Pettersson and Miller. He likes to lose all the leverage in all of his trades for some reason. But I just have to wonder. I don't know. I don't think they should be buying at all at the deadline, personally speaking. You have to reevaluate and see who you have long term and what are your long term goals and who you think is a long term player. But NHL coaches don't want to actually. They are trying to play for now and not. Which is, they get fired eventually. They go back into the meat grinder of the coaching carousel. But there's no long term effect because for some reason Zach Jones keeps finding himself in the press box, even though he's definitely better than at least 2 defenders who are playing regularly every night. Particularly Ryan Lindgren, who is definitely gone after this, who's 100% gone after the season. And I don't want him back. They suck, and there's nothing good about them. And they brought back some goodwill, and then they played some really, really bad games. And it's just making me question. And they have to sit with that Carolina loss until Saturday against Boston. And that game's going to be on ABC. I cannot wait for the trash game that's going to be. It's just, I had a better rant for this, but then I just had to, I'm still befuddled by the Vincent Trocheck breakaway miss. It made me so mad. It made me so mad. And I've been to 2 games this year, and they've been both stinkers. And also, side note, both games I've been to, Wes McCauley was there too. He didn't do anything, but he spoke, and I was really mad that he spoke.
They both blowouts.
Yes, they were both blowouts. They've scored 1 goal in both the games.
So therefore, Wes McCauley didn't really need to make an impact because both the games are blowouts.
Except make me mad. I hate Wes McCauley so much. But anyways, Rangers suck. Baseball season's 56 days away. Counting the days. Anyways, what time is it now?
We still got time, so we'll quickly go over some of the other teams. How's New Jersey been?
Oh, yeah.
They were in a nasty slide.
They were
like a solid month and a half. I'm not all that convinced that they're like out of it.
Especially with recent events.
Yeah, because they just lost two very, very, very important players to injury. They lost Jacob Markstrom, who is a Vezina candidate to injury.
How's he been?
To a Vezina candidate.
Really good.
Good.
Like really, really good.
This is what happens when you get real goaltending, ladies and gentlemen. You get New Jersey when they're good.
And they just lost Nico Hischier, who is week to week. He got cross-checked in the ribs by Nick Suzuki. For some reason, every team in the Atlantic Division just loves to cross-check Nico Hischier and hurt him.
Why is that?
I don't understand why. Nico Hischier is one of the least problematic people in the NHL.
The Four Nations captains got announced for USA.
Austin Matthews,
Captain America.
Charlie McAvoy's vice captain.
Although,
all right.
Although Captain America, the mantle is still up in the air after TJ.
By the way, the real Captain America is Christian Pulisic. Make me change my mind.
If Christian Pulisic makes it to the quarterfinal of a World Cup, I think he's
Darren Wright's actually Darren Wright's nickname.
No, Captain America is Christian Pulisic.
The only way you get named Captain America in sports is
we
if you
played in a real World Cup. We played in the real World Cup, chat,
for a national team.
He saved the national team. Christian Pulisic saved the.
Yes, I know Christian Pulisic single-handedly brought U.S. soccer back to relevance.
You're not beating me on this. Christian Pulisic is Captain America.
TJ Oshie single-handedly.
It was him, and then he became old, and then he handed it down to the real.
I still think Christian Pulisic is another really. I think he needs to make it to a top 8. Yeah. Although again, he also was.
Do you know who we played? We played the most underrated team in the last decade plus in the Netherlands, who beat us like a drum, and we didn't have a coach. Now we have a coach, and yes, I know, we're probably losing to Jamaica or Trinidad or someone bad.
Trinidad, my God, dude, don't bring up that country around me.
Okay, for reference,
don't bring that country
in the last 5 matches, we have a 500 record against Trinidad. Just saying.
About the only one of those matches is really
2 of the matches actually were important because the second one was a nation of was like when Serginho Dest got sent off and we lost. But then again, it didn't matter because we beat Trinidad in the first leg. But the real question is this: who will one day dethrone the LeBron James of soccer? I think that's a question we'll have to answer.
The LeBron James of soccer.
Find that clip. Find the clip. It's one of the best clips we've ever seen. But unfortunately, that is where today's show will conclude. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure, by the way, to check out WIUR on Mixlr for radio broadcasts of upcoming Iona sporting events, including Sunday afternoon basketball with myself and Chris Gambino doing Iona and Fairfield. Should be an entertaining one, 1 p.m. Eastern on WIUR Mixlr. Make sure to check it out. For Cameron Woolley and Luke Dolan, I'm Robbie Basil saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you guys next time.
You're listening to WIUR Sports Radio.